It's 6 p.m. on a Monday night. We're not usually on a Monday night, so it must mean
No.
Notts County are playing on a Tuesday night. And tomorrow night, we have got Shrewsbury Town away. Sadly, at the moment, I'm not going. It might change in the next a few hours.
Half an hour. Yeah.
It might change. So, shall we have a look back at the game at Bromley at the weekend?
Oh, yeah, quickly. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't too bad. I'd say a draw's. I think going into it, probably a draw would have been good for both sides. Obviously, knowing Swindon lost to Shrewsbury 3-1. So, I mean, the game wasn't really top of the table clash, was it? It was like we were mid-table. So, I think a point will be good for both sides and see how that point turns out towards the end of the season.
It weren't a classic top of the table clash, but nor was the one against Walsall.
No.
In just before Christmas. Notts County first 15, 20 minutes, they was a bit, I'd say, under the cosh a bit. A bit one-way traffic.
Yeah, I would say Bromley was better of the two teams in the first 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And the way they took the lead as well, that free kick, was it a free kick? The referee gave it, so obviously he thought it was a free kick. I thought a lot of the Bromley players sort of like went down very easy. And also like...
Yeah, I mean, I listened to this Bromley podcast, Paul came on and saying, they were talking about it, it's like, obviously, they all thought it was a Michael Cheek goal, but then obviously, it was an own goal of Matty Dennis, but then I think Michael Cheek said in his interview after the game that it came off a little bit off his ear, so I think he was trying to get another goal on his tanny. But
I mean, it's an interesting perspective if you listen to both managers after the game, both interviews. Both of them feel like they should have won it. The referee was against either side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, having obviously listened to them both, is like they're not against each other. There's like they kind of was agreeing on the same thing where both teams could have nicked it at different parts of the game, and also the referee obviously they wanted it more than others. So I don't know.
And shall we have a look at the Notts goal? Well, the penalty. Yes. What led up to the penalty?
Yeah, we can do.
There's Jody Jones into the box, gets bundled over. Whether that was in and out the box, it ain't that deep because the referee gave it. So we can't really argue. He gave it the penalty. He was going into the box. He gets bundled over, and that makes it 1-1.
I am sorry that my phone is kind of in your way.
You weren't. You don't.
I am.
Oh, okay, you was. What? The challenge started outside the area. Jody was going into the box. It continued into the box. There's no... I don't know. I watched the Sky TV bit. I've watched their
footage. You can't really see it, can you? You can't really tell.
It's odd. You know what I mean? That is odd. The Robinson, her first yellow card, Robbo's first yellow card.
I don't think it was yellow.
I don't think you can fall in that direction like that, fall in that way if there's no contact. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Ever good evening. I can't see that. I don't know where you fall like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then, it was like. I mean, obviously we can't argue about the second yellow because it was a yellow. So,
well, was it a challenge you needed to make at that time? You know what I mean?
Probably.
I don't think it was.
No.
I didn't think he'd be on the pitch, still on the pitch at that time neither. Right, let's have a look at the controversy last 2 minutes or something. This one, the Michael Cheek, which all the fans, the Bromley fans, are going on about. If you take it, you would go back, yeah. See now, if there was VAR in League Two, you got Michael Cheek going in there. He pushes a dude down. As you clearly see, he shoves him to the ground, so that's a free kick. That one, he was on the way down. I can't say
It
that,
was, yeah.
that was a penalty. Some referees
Some referees would have given it, yeah. But
and
then
also
also you
you
have
could
to.
say Robbo's
You could,
McDonald's
yeah.
challenge to clear the ball out. Some referees might have given that
Yeah, and I was
on another day.
some referees may have give Robbo's penalty on another day.
A point.
It's just football. It's one of those things, isn't it?
A point is a good point at the end of the day.
Yeah.
How much of a good point it is will be at the end of the season.
Yep.
Whether Notts finish in the automatics or in the playoffs. Let's have a look at tomorrow's night's fixtures. We've got a full fixture list apart from one game.
That's the Grimsby game on Wednesday against.
So we've got 11 out of the 12 playing.
Yep.
Let me just turn that off so we can see all the fixtures. So you've got Barnet against Swindon. Swindon lost to our tomorrow night's opponents. You got Barrow, Harrogate. You got Bromley, Cheltenham. You got Cambridge, Colchester, Chesterfield, Gillingham, Crewe, Fleetwood, MK Dons, Crawley, Oldham, Bristol Rovers, Salford, Newport County, Shrewsbury, Notts, and then Tranmere, Accrington. There's some tasty games in there tomorrow night. I think there's going to be a few upsets.
Yeah, and I hope Cheltenham can obviously beat Bromley.
Well, I did see that Saturday. I did see that to Aisley's TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like what can you do? Is like if you would have rather drawn against us and lose against Thingy, or yeah, who knows?
So we're currently sat in fourth on 58 points. Shrewsbury Town are in 19th on 29. So we've got 29 points more over the season. How many more wins more we've got? We've got 17 wins compared to Shrewsbury 7.
Yeah, so 10 more wins over them. They got one more draw than us, and
They've got
they had 16 losses. Yeah.
But as we said earlier, it was like I watched the highlights from the Shrewsbury Town Swindon game, and I thought they should have scored a lot more goals in that game. A lot more goals. Especially
when I think that chance where one of the person crossed it in and he hit the crossbar, I believe.
Yeah, they should have scored way more goals. Say the referee tomorrow night is this fella.
William
stats. Oh, and then William Davis. Read them all
out. National League, 8 appearances, 19 yellow cards, 1 second yellow, no reds, no penalties. In the Premier League International Cup under 21s, 3 appearances, 2 yellow cards, 0 red, second yellows, 1 red, 1 penalty. In the Premier League Cup, 3 appearances, 7 yellow cards, and 1 red card, no second yellow, no penalty. EFL Trophy, 2 appearances, 4 yellow cards, 0 second yellows, 1 red card, 1 penalty. Premier League 2 appearances, 5 yellow cards, 1 second yellow, 0 reds, 0 penalties. In the FA Cup, 1 appearance, 4 yellow cards.
And right, this is a moment we're going to be joined by Dan from
the Slope podcast.
Who is a Shrewsbury
pronounced
fan?
It?
Yeah. So we are joined by Shrewsbury Town fan Dan. How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Not bad. Are you looking forward to tomorrow night's game?
Yeah, I'm not bad.
I'm looking forward to it more now than I was 7 days ago. And I say that for 2 reasons. I thought we were very poor when we played at Meadow Lane back earlier in the season, but I also thought you guys looked like you had a bit of potential, and you've built on that since that 4-1 defeat. But also we've had a good week. We've got a lot of Tuesday, Saturday football to be played, and we've had 2 wins in the last 5 or 6 days. So that definitely has been needed, and it's been a pick me up for all the fans who've suffered a long troubling winter, really. So yeah, looking forward to Tuesday. We know we've got a tough task because you're a good side, but at the same time, we're in a better place now than we were just 7 days ago.
And that 3-1 scoreline didn't flatter you, should I say, because you should have scored more in that game. Your number 19, who scored the first goal, he missed. I don't know how that went over the bar.
Yeah, he should have scored, shouldn't they? And of course, they went straight down the other end and equalised when that happened. I think we met Swindon at the right time. They'd played on the Wednesday before. They had a few people out injured, like Junior Hoylett didn't play, and the big former Wickham centre-half didn't play. But, and this is the bit that I guess surprised a lot of Town fans, we actually put a performance together and looked like we might score a few goals. And Ewan Morgan, the guy you're referring to, he's on loan from Brentford. He's a young lad, and he's come in to a dressing room that's struggling and has made a real difference. It looks like he's got, a simplicity of thought. He wants to go out there and score goals, and he doesn't really care about the context, about anything else. And he's made a real difference to us. Although I do hope that next time he has a simple chance like that, he puts it in the back of the net. But he's been a good acquisition in the January transfer window.
So on the players' side, have you got any players out injured?
We do, and there's a bit of a story there because we bought John Marquis 18 months ago, who's got 110, 120 league goals to his name through his career, and we bought Sam Clucas in the summer. So he used to play for Hull and Stoke in the Premier League, and neither of them have really performed, if I'm being brutally honest. And in Clucas's case, I felt a bit sorry for him because he's a centre midfielder, and we decided to play a 38-year-old as wing back. Now work that one out. Because the one thing he's not going to do is jet up and down the wing. Now, both of them are injured. I do hear that Clucas might actually be on the fringes of coming back, but it's helped us because we've had to inject a bit of youth. We've had to play a little bit differently. And I think much as you don't want to see players getting injured, that it really has helped us to bring in people like Morgan, the guy we were talking about before, who he might have started, but he wouldn't have been playing centre forward. He'd been playing out on the left, and yet he is clearly a finisher. So the two people we've got out injured are arguably two people who were not performing, and it might help us that they're unlikely to be there on Tuesday night.
I mean, we don't know whether Jatt is going to play, and that's a big miss for us. I think we missed him on Saturday against League. Right. Robbo got sent off against Bromley.
We saw that. Yeah. What happened there? What did he do?
Well, for the first one, it was supposed to be simulation, but looking back on the replay, you can't tell whether the way he goes down, it's not the way a person would dive or a simulator.
They didn't look like it. No, you can't tell.
His second one, 100%. Oh. And then, so he's going to be out. But the midfield, we've got Ollie in there. He's been solid since he's come in. Matty Palmer's, we don't know whether he's going to be in the squad, be on the bench. So we're in the midfield, we're a bit short. Up front, we're missing Jatta. We can say that as County fans, we're missing Jatta. I don't think Dennis is as good as Jatta is playing as a lone striker. On Love, he came from Barnet. I think he's more of a provider than like an out-and-out goal scorer. So a lot of Notts fans are pretty worried.
Well, it's interesting to hear that because we were saying off air that we're a slightly different proposition at home than we are away. I mean, you saw our problems away from home, and if we concede one, then the story for most of the season is that's the end of the game, and it can often get messy. We lost 5-1 at MK Dons the other week, and it was all pretty gruesome. At home, no one in the division has kept more clean sheets at home than we have, which, given that we're flying high in 19th at the moment, might be something of a surprise, but we are definitely a tougher nut to crack. We'll play with a back three. We've got two wing backs who actually want to be wing backs. So I think the bits are fitting together a bit better than they have. So I doubt it'll be a walk in the park for either side. It'll probably be a pretty close contest. So yeah.
Obviously, we've got the likes of Jody Jones. You've got Cerula on the day. Jody Jones is coming back to some sort of form. You know what I mean, as well. Yeah. So we've got players who can put the ball in the back of the net. But if Jatta's not going to play, I can see it being a tight game from our perspective. we've shored up the goalkeeping position because now we've got like Belshaw in goal, and we're unbeaten since he's come in. Roos has gone out on loan into Scotland, so defensively we're much better.
Hmm.
We're cutting out the mistakes what was there before costing us. But it's a striking thing.
You're on a good run, right? And I
Yeah.
think it's easy to forget that you win more games than you lose, and that's always a good thing. It's going to see you towards the top of the table.
As Harry, do you want to ask any questions?
Oh, I mean, I'll get there eventually. What questions can I ask?
Well, I was going to ask you guys.
You know, I forgot.
Well, how have you been getting on against the teams towards the bottom of the table? Because what I asked that question because for us, they're always the big pressure games, and you know that you've been in other seasons, not have been in relegation dogfights too. You know what it's like. But for us, that they've been obviously the games we really need to win, and we've done reasonably well in those. But we had most of them at home. What also I found is when we play the better sides, one of two things happens, and that's either it falls apart and we get into real trouble real quickly, or actually it's a free hit. And we can batten down the hatches. And at Cambridge, we lost 1-0 to a 91st minute penalty 2 weeks ago. And I didn't think there was much between the teams. So I'm not sure which Shrewsbury will turn up when Notts County are in town, but it's generally one of those two things. But how have you been getting on against the Newports and the Harrogates and the Crawleys? Have they been teams you've been beating?
Well, we played Newport earlier in the season, opening day of the season. That was a 1-1 draw. Harrogate, we got a very dubious penalty to rescue a point. So I'd say it's a bit similar. You don't know which one you're going to get.
Yeah,
I do think we're better away from home than we are at home. In the sense,
different pressure when you play at home. Yeah, different pressure completely. And sometimes it's good for. It's good for you, and we're benefiting from that. But I think when you're flying high, people expect you to demolish teams at home, no matter who they are, really. Whereas away from home, you just play what's in front of you, right? And you back yourself to your ability and the fact you can put the ball in the net to see you through. So I don't find that too surprising. Well, you're bringing quite a few fans, I believe, as well. We're expecting sort of 1,200 or so,
which is good for a Tuesday night as well. And Shrewsbury is not one of the easiest spots of the world to get to. You can't get back on the train.
Yeah, east-west journey is always a nightmare, aren't they? We know that.
Yeah. So you can't get back the same day unless you leave, I think, like grand, probably about half time or something. You could get back. There's no point going all that way if you're traveling by train.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing
just after half time.
If you playing them sides around you, is it easier to get up for them games than the ones where some people have got something to fight for? Because
I think that's a really interesting question because, I mean, you should be up for it. But then again, if you're a professional footballer, you should be up for any game. And also, I think it can turn full circle. Sometimes you can freeze.
Yeah.
Now, the game against Barrow, we came through last Tuesday. It really wasn't particularly attractive, but they definitely did not perform. And I don't think that's because we're Brazil. I think it's because something about the night, it just didn't happen for them. And we've generally been okay at making it count. But we've been at home. We've still got to go to Newport. We've still got to go to Crawley. We could do with a few more points. So those games are not massive 6-pointers when we get to them because we don't play them for another 6 weeks or so.
I think another interesting about Notts this season, like you wouldn't have known last season because you was like in League One, but we used to have a lot of the ball, keep the ball, but we can be happy with having a 25, 30, 35% possession and just waiting for them key moments. Like at Grimsby, we hardly had any of the ball.
To score. We
only had 2 shots on target, but we scored from both of them.
Yeah.
Or if you win a game by the odd goal, you're still getting the same amount of 3 points. So you can surrender possession and everything else. But as long as you come out the other side with the 3 points, that's all what matters.
Yeah. Have you got that, and the question I would ask, and we did exactly the same, is have you got the ability to attack with pace when you do have the ball? Because you won't get many chances. You've just got to have the ability to make
it. It's a different matter. Like in seasons before, we'd have a corner kick. and it'd go from the corner kick right back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That don't happen so much now. But we have got pace. We will play a long ball, like Jody Jones' penalty against Bromley. That came from a ball from Platt over the top for Jody Jones to run on. So as some people say it was outside the box, inside the box. But if the referee gives it, that's all what counts.
Absolutely. We've grown up with referees making good and bad decisions. Players make good and bad decisions. Part of it. Some run for you, some don't.
So we're going to ask you this question:
Mm-hmm.
VAR in League Two or not?
No.
No,
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah, we just don't need it. I mean, if we're talking about offsides, then there's a discussion to be had there, because of course that's a decision of fact. But how many times have you seen a decision? Well, I bet you there'll be a decision on Tuesday night where a Notts fan will see it differently to a Shrewsbury fan, simply because we can't help but wear our own sort of glasses on this when we're watching it, and that's part of the game. There is no right and wrong decision. It's a referee's judgment call. VAR can't adjudicate over that. And a lot of the nonsense you see in the Premier League is about interpretation. And I would say embrace it. You're not going to have, or put it another way, you could set the rules of football so everything was factual, but it wouldn't be a football that any of us would want to watch. It'd be a completely different game.
Like, I do totally agree with you with the fans. I always try and be subjective.
Absolutely.
Is where if I see a decision and you've got to take your art out of it, take your badge away from it and say, well, is this a penalty? Was it a penalty or not? But what you get is no fans can agree. Because if you benefit from that penalty, you're going to say, oh, it's 100% a penalty.
Or it can
even
be given.
if it's not.
Yeah.
Because it's one of them. So that's what we love about football. It's subjective.
It makes me laugh as well, because there's a supporter who sits to the left of me, who I don't really know, but they're a season ticket holder like I am, so you see them. And the amount of times I've heard them say, all the refs hate Shrewsbury Town. And I feel like going over and saying, why would they do that? They don't know anything about Shrewsbury. No one ever knows anything about it. Why would referees hate? And of course, for them, this is a perfectly reasonable thing to say, but I just think they're nuts.
Yeah.
And
but you do have one or two you will have a referee, and we have one. Every club has one where you play him, he gives you nothing.
Drysdale.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that he never gives anything, I think, but part of it, right?
Yeah, part of it. But it's that subjective figure. So what do you think the score's going to be?
Well, the good news is I'm rubbish at this. The more football I watch, the less good I am at predicting outcomes. We don't concede many goals at home, as I said before. So we've got this really odd, record of having the most clean sheets of anybody. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's 0-0. And you know what? A lot of the Town fans would take it. If we were offered 7 points from this week's fixtures, we would have snapped everybody's hand off. Now, I don't think Gav Cowan will play for 0-0, but I don't think he's going to go buccaneering from the start. So I think we'll get more adventurous in the last half hour of the game if it's still 0-0. So my instinct says that that's the way to go. I don't ever remember in my 46 years of following Shrewsbury Town us getting 9 points in a week. It would be truly a once in a lifetime thing, if only because you don't often have 3 home games in a week. But I don't remember. So again, my instinct says that probably won't happen this time either. So if I was going to go if I had to predict, I'd say 0-0. Or I think teams that go up skank away wins on a Tuesday night at places that look difficult or look problematic. So I might go 1-0 Notts. But that's largely because I'm in my world that existed before last week, where I see negative outcomes. But so 0-0. But if there's going to be an either way, I think you'll get a goal from somewhere.
You need my score prediction right out.
Sorry.
Under me. I'm going to go for a 1-0. And not a pretty game, probably a bit tough.
Our pitch is not great, guys. Just so you know, our pitch is getting worse. Played a lot of football on it.
So I'm just that sort of thing. I'm looking at probably a 1-0, and probably Jody Jones or Cerula to get the goal. You know what I mean? Probably
I can't come on that.
Deflection.
Goals come from or it might go off somebody's shin or off their backside or something, but that happens. And sides that go up need those 1-0s. We all know that, because that's how you get your advantage on your Swindons, who of course didn't get anything at our place on Saturday.
Yeah, Harry, what do you think the score's going to be?
I think it'll be. I mean, we need to balance back on last Saturday's draw, so I'm going to go 2-1
Interesting. I just think there'll be an one goal in it. I can't
I
see
definitely
it
don't think
being a
it'll be
nice
pretty.
scoring game.
I think it, and the pitch is a bit. I mean, it ain't Grimsby. Let's be clear, it ain't that bad. But it's not the pristine surface that these players are now used to. You know, obviously, you know, we're a little bit older. We remember the old pitches, but they don't exist anymore, except at Grimsby. So I think that might be a little bit of a challenge. It'll be a bit wobbly.
And the other thing, what's going off with the Shrewsbury takeover?
Gosh, now there. Where do we begin? Well, our chairman's been chairman for 30 years now. I think he's the longest standing chairman in English football. And for 27 of those years, he was nothing but good. We got a new ground out of it. Admittedly, it's not Wembley, but I think it's all right compared to some that I've seen. He rebuilt us when we were in non-league and took us to League One. And, you know, these are all really positive developments. For the last 3 years, he's made it pretty clear he wants to sell, but I'm not sure I completely believe him. Because by the sound of it, more or less every offer that comes in, there's something wrong with it. And the club has said there's been 20, 30 different parties that at various times have shown an interest. And it's got to the point where many of the fans think that actually maybe it's the chairman doesn't quite want to sell. He sort of says he does, but he can't bear to, you know, he's 82 now. He can't bear to see what he would see as his life's work move on. Now, I don't know if that's true, but as things stand, we're not in exclusivity talks with anybody. Apparently, there are folks that are interested somewhere, but nobody knows who they are. So we're not expecting anything on that front in the short term. And quite frankly, I'll only believe anything when I actually see it in black and white, because we've had far too many false dawns on this one.
I think earlier in the season when I was listening to one of your fans, I might have been from the same podcast group.
Yeah.
There was talking about some American interest back then.
Yeah. There's been a number of discussions about foreign investors from the US. There was even talks about Saudi investors, like on earth the Saudi investors want investing in Shrewsbury Town. But that's both have not happened. There are still other sort of takeovers sort of bumbling along, but we just don't know if this is made up or if this is genuine. And the club, quite frankly, have been abysmal, I think, at talking to the fan base about what is actually happening. And you know what it's like when they don't tell you anything. The rumours just keep going around. People make stuff up, quite frankly. And
we have that with injuries and stuff like that, and players outside the squad, and it just goes and goes. And then there's this narrative, oh, well, this player must be lazy because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. So the takeover is one that we would love to talk about, but there's just no point because we don't know anything, and the club are not telling us anything. And I mean, give you an example. Our chairman, Roland Wycherley, who, as I said, the first 27 years, nothing but respect for what he achieved. But he gave an interview with the Daily Mail, quite a long interview. And he said he only gave the interview with the journalists because they were the same star sign and therefore their interests would align.
Yes.
But this is one of those we don't really know. I mean, clearly, when you get into your 80s, you have to think about such things. It's not outrageous to think that you might move on. But the club is very poor, I think, at communicating what its plans are. Now, I don't expect them to say, as and when Roland Wycherley dies, we're going to do this. No, I don't expect that. Yeah. But over the course of time, communication's just not been good enough. So we live in a sort of sense of like suspended animation. We just don't know what the next steps are. And I think ultimately the sacking of Appleton and bringing in Gav Cowan has got a lot to do with money. Appleton will have been on more money for sure. Gav Cowan's never managed a football league club before. He's a former player, and he's ironically lived in Shrewsbury and lives in Shrewsbury, even though he managed Brackley, which of course is North Ants. So he has a connection to the club that others don't. But let's cut to the chase. He'll be cheap, and that's one of the reasons I think he's been appointed.
I mean, I don't think you're going to end up in a Morecambe situation where an owner won't sell. I just think maybe he's had a lot of money invested in it, and if there's any offers coming in, they're not to his value or that he sees fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and potentially that's the case. I just wish they'd tell us a bit more.
I think in this day and age,
and if only because social media will do its thing and people just make stuff up that becomes urban myth, and I think the communications could be better, but that's not going to change anytime soon. So we'll concentrate on the here and now and try and get 3 points tomorrow if we can.
Like you said, in this day and age, social media and everything, if it ain't put out, it's going to leak out, or there's going to be so many different narratives on it.
Yeah,
But
Are
thanks for
you guys coming
joining.
over to the game tomorrow? Are you going to be there?
Ari's going to be there. Ari's going. I don't know. It's 50-50 at the moment whether I'm going to be there or not. Because I know you can still get a ticket.
Yeah.
You can still purchase a ticket on the day. So it's whether I get one of the supporters coaches to the ground.
Yeah. Well, one piece of advice, Harry, is actually forget it. It's an evening kickoff, but I don't know if we haven't played Notts at home for quite a long time, have we? Is that
No.
right? Yeah. So you're going to be at the end where the sun goes down. So obviously, it won't affect it tomorrow. It's 7:45 in the evening. But if our paths cross in the future, bring a hat, mate. Bring a hat because you get the sun in your eyes. And I think the amount of times we see supporters at the other end looking like this to try and watch the game. So bring a hat.
So thank you for Dan for joining us. We had to record that earlier because he had other things to do this evening. So, are you still thinking it's going to be 2 1 hour?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I still
am.
think
Yeah.
it's.
I'm still confident. Even though we didn't play too well on Saturday, it's a new game, it's a new challenge. I'm confident.
I still think it's just going to be like maybe a bit of a cagey game. The chances, maybe Belshaw will make some cracking saves. Their goalkeeper will make some cracking saves as well. And I think we might just nick, as he says, the pitch isn't in that good of a condition, but not as bad as Grimsby's. I could just think it's a bobble, loops up or something into the back of the net, miss it shot. Let's go through the score predictions for tomorrow night. So first game, we've got Barnet against Swindon. You know what? I'm going to go Swindon to bounce back with a win, 2-0.
Yeah, I think Swindon will win this one. Same, I'm going to go 2-0 as well.
And then we've got Barrow, Harrogate. This is a battle of the bottom. I'm going to go Barrow. They impressed me when Notts played us, when we played them. And then they disappointed me against Shrewsbury. It was like a totally different side. But I expect them to get a win, 2-1.
I'm going to go with Harrogate to win this one by 1-0.
Bromley against Cheltenham. I did say this to Ainsley's TV on Saturday. If we didn't beat them, Cheltenham Town would go beat them, and I'm going for that on that narrative. I'm going to go Bromley 1 and Cheltenham Town 2.
I mean, I'm going to have to say the same thing because that's what I was thinking as well. Bromley 1, Cheltenham 2.
Cambridge Colchester, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I think there's going to be Tuesday nights in the season. You'll get some strange results when teams towards the bottom are playing the teams near the top. I've got 1-1 for the Cambridge Colchester.
I'm going to go 2-1 Colchester.
Then we've got Chesterfield, Gillingham. I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say 0-0.
Crewe Fleetwood. I'm going to go 2-1 to Fleetwood.
Yep, same 2-1 to Fleetwood as well.
MK Dons, Crawley Town. Earlier in the season, I'm sure they played early in the season on a Tuesday night as well. I'm sure that was a draw.
Was it 1-1? 1-1?
I'm going for another draw, 2-2.
I think MK Dons will win this one by 3-1. 3-1.
Oldham Athletic, Bristol Rovers. I'm going to go Oldham 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go Oldham 2-1.
Then Salford, Newport. I'm going to go 0-0.
I'm going to go 1-0 Newport.
The Shrewsbury Notts County, I said 1-0 Notts County on that one.
Yeah, 2-1 Notts County on that one as well.
And then Tranmere, Accrington Stanley. Who are they?
I'm not falling for it. Exactly.
You're not falling for it. Exactly. You did in the end.
Exactly. I know. I was thinking about it. I would say it anyway.
You know what? A Tranmere to win 3-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 Accrington Stanley.
I wonder if not, they'll make it. Depending on other results, we could be back in the top 3 tomorrow.
Could be second
Tomorrow
wouldn't
night. Yeah, we could be
we?
back
If we win.
second, if we win. And that's a big if.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Big if.
Especially we could have a makeshift midfield.
Yes, I know.
And well, we could be surprised. Jack could come back into the squad. Matty Palmer could
be back in the squad. Yeah,
and that gives because Patterson don't give a lot away in interviews about injuries, about people who may start or won't start. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult one to sort of gauge, isn't it? Because he didn't give note away in his presser today.
Yeah. BBC Radio Nottingham. You want to listen to it?
Yeah, it's on BBC Radio Nottingham. If it ain't out, the video for one isn't out on the club website. It's on BBC Sounds. So you're not getting much information through there. We know Robbo's going to be out. Unsure about Palmer. Unsure about Jatta. Would you go 2 up front? Would you go on Love and Dennis to start?
Yes.
After like the weekend.
Because I think Endov's as well. Because Endov needs someone to like. Because he's a provider. He's like you can pass the balls in the right areas, but if you're not gonna have a second striker on the pitch, then who's gonna finish those chances up? So I think we need 2 up top tomorrow night.
It's going to be very interesting around 6:30 tomorrow night when the team news comes out and who's playing where. I mean, could you put somebody on? This was my thinking. Like, I know Lee hasn't started for the club. The lad we got, the under-21s lad we got from Crystal Palace. I wonder.
Luke Brownie.
Yeah, I wonder if he could like fit in that middle.
Yeah.
Rather than in the back. Yeah. I mean, we could be putting in midfield. We could be putting square pegs in round holes. I mean,
we could see Iapenda back in the. I know he's been taking the field already, but we could see him drop a bit deeper.
It's going to be the team selection. Would be very interesting.
Yeah. Can we make it 8 unbeaten tomorrow?
Or you could have the thingy where you've got. Yeah, Iapenda drops back a bit. Then you have Ole, and then what about Harold?
Yeah, he can go a bit more up forward. Yeah.
See, it's interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
We're going to have to see this time tomorrow.
Yeah, we will see this time tomorrow. Have you got anything to rant about? I'm conscious of time as well.
I mean, I think just about the people basically call me deluded for what I say. Can't really say anything. Basically, you have to agree with the people that call you thingy, or else they're just going to call you whatever. So you can't really see anything opposite these days with like lots of different type of people. So I'm just going to keep saying what I want because it's my opinion. At the end of the day, you can either disagree or agree with it. Not really bothered if you do or not. So I'm just going to keep saying what I see. I see a different view of what everyone else does, and yeah, I'm just going to keep going.
And that's what football's about. It's about people having different opinions. If everyone had the same opinion,
it'll be boring.
Football, it'd be totally boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we said when we was talking to Dan, who's a Shrewsbury Town fan, it's people can't agree on a penalty.
No.
People can't even agree on a sending off or like whether something was a free kick or not. And that's what makes football what it is.
Yeah.
And long may it continue. And never let anybody what's the phrase? Never let anybody stamp out your voice. Your voice is always important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And on that note, we were back Wednesday night, 7 p.m. for our weekly preview of Saturday's game, which is Tranmere. Welcome Tranmere to Meadow Lane. After tomorrow's night away game at Shrewsbury Town, we've got 2 home games back to back: Tranmere and Grimsby Town.
Andy Cook's testimonial.
Yeah, Andy Cook's testimonial. We've got loads of Bradford fans coming to that game. I don't know why.
And also, Grimsby fans might be in Yeoman, but I think that game could be a bit of a trouble.
So if you go to the game, safe travels and enjoy it. Whatever the result, we'll be back here Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Bye for now.